Find out whether Hikaru Nakamura has a fighter's chance of catching Wesley So in the Grand Chess Tour standings as it moves to its final leg in London. Timur Gureyev shocks and awes the crowd and plays his way blindfolded into the record books. And finally, actor-comedian Orlando Jones joins ChessCenter to tell the world about his new project, The Druid Kings, and tells us all what we might have to learn from park hustlers. ChessCenter, where the blunders are made for nothing and the checks are free. With the World Championship in the rearview, Mike, everyone turns their attention to the London Chess Classic, which is not only one of the biggest events to end this year, but also the finale of the Grand Chess Tour. Tell everybody what the current standings are and what they can expect from this event.
That's right, Danny. A lot of chess fans wanted to see more classical chess in New York. They didn't get it. They're going to get a ton of it in London. 8 of the top 10 players in the world, basically everybody that didn't play at the World Championship, will play the London Chess Classic. That is the end of the Grand Chess Tour. Only 2 players are alive for the overall classification. Wesley So is in the driver's seat, 30 overall tour points. And in fact, he can wrap things up with a top 3 finish. He will be statistically unbeatable. However, failing to do so, Hikaru Nakamura could catch him. Hikaru absolutely needs to finish first. He needs to hope that Wesley does not finish higher than 4th. And in fact, they will be facing off in round 1. That clash is going to mean a whole lot toward determining things. We'll see if we get an ending as exciting as last year's playoff with Carlsen and Vachier-Lagrave.
And everyone can turn their attention to Chess.com TV as we will have the official live show, our partnership with them. We'll see their broadcast embedded at Chess.com TV. You can also look for recaps and highlights during the rest days. Mike, we're as excited as you to see what happens here in the first round between the 2 Americans, Wesley So and Hikaru Nakamura. Robert, Nino Bastiashvili is a little unhappy with all the attention Magnus Carlsen and Sergei Karyakin have been getting. So she got herself on ChessCenter this week with a brilliant move of the week. Tell everybody how she broke down Black's kingside here.
Well, Danny, let's not forget that Bastiashvili drew Carlsen last year. And here, when it looks like Black is getting some safety, she said not so fast and played rook takes h7, dropping with a thud. The point is after bishop takes h7, well, the king gets very unsafe after queen h5 check, and the ensuing attack is too strong. Instead, as in the game continuation, rook takes h7. Well, now after queen takes g6 check, rook f7, and the very simple move bishop e2, Black was simply lost in just a few more moves.
Yet she went on to win in a crushing manner. Our second brilliant move of the week came to us courtesy of the world's new blindfold king, that being Timur Gureyev. He had this position as Black against former USCF director Tom Brownscombe. And he not only set a world record for most blindfold games played, Robert, he did so in style. Tell everybody how he finished off this awesome martial attack-esque looking position.
Yeah, the position here is quite crazy, and Timur only made it more insane. Knight takes h2, sacrificing pieces all over the place. After rook to e5, the queen came to f6 to join the attack. The rook scooped the bishop off the board, and now after knight takes f3 check, king g2, another ridiculous shot, bishop h3 check, led to a forced mate in a few moves.
Yeah, after king takes h3, the check on h4, the check on g4, it all makes sense from here. King can only survive a couple more moves, but that's just enough time to get another piece in the game. So, brilliant board recognition, an awesome way to set a world record when you're winning games like this, and an awesome way to get yourself on Move of the Week for Timur Gureyev.
The ultimate diversion from the World Championship was Grandmaster Timur Guryeyev's fantastic attempt to break the world simultaneous record. It was held in Vegas. It took 19 hours. He played 48 boards. He had to win at least 80%. He won 80.2%, 38.5 out of 48 possible points. It's not officially a Guinness record yet. It's very expensive to have a Guinness person come out to your event, but they're going to try to get it certified. He also had to work through a couple of distractions during the event. One was a fire alarm that paused play for 30 minutes. The other was one of his competitors claiming that his wireless audio headset for the commentary was actually some sort of cheating device. He got through both of those, and that culminates about a 4-year effort for Gureyev to break this record.
Inspirational, to say the least. Inspires me to try to finish this ChessCenter blindfolded. But Mike, go ahead and tell us about the other story involving top women's chess.
That's right, Danny. The FIDE Women's Grand Prix cycle ended in Khanty-Mansiysk with Chinese Zhu Wenzhen, number 2 in the world. She won the FIDE Grand Prix cycle. Now, what does that allow her to do? Well, whoever wins the knockout tournament in Iran in February, she gets to be the official challenger to that person for a world championship later on. It's actually possible that she could win the knockout herself, Now, she wouldn't play a match against herself. That'd be silly. But the number 2 player in the FIDE Women's Grand Prix, that being Humpy Canary, would then become her challenger. So she's punched her ticket to challenge someone. We just don't know who.
Well, it'll be exciting to see how that turns out, and an exciting match to follow regardless. Our first blunder of the week comes to us from a man who, well, he doesn't make many blunders when he plays Entitled Tuesdays, Robert, but when he does, he prefers to make blunders that lead to checkmate. Tell everybody what Jörg Meyer played here as black against Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky.
Well, Daniel Naroditsky did not just blunder a piece with bishop to b3, so the queen should have went over to f6 into safety. Instead, Jörg Meyer took the bishop on b3, allowing queen takes g5. A beautiful checkmate ensues. If pawn takes g5, knight e7 would be checkmate on the spot. So unfortunately for Meyer, he went down in defeat.
That is a 2-move tactics trainer problem if I've ever seen one. Queen takes b3 and queen takes g5. That's sassy. Speaking of sassy, Ho Yifan played phenomenal in her match versus Vladimir Kramnik, but in this game here, the blunders got out of control for both of them. After outplaying the former world champion for some time, she took a position that's about +2 to about -2 with this horrific bishop d6. Tell everybody why that was a blunder, but then shock them with the news that Kramnik didn't see it.
Well, the problem with bishop d6 is it's actually a free piece. Knight takes d6. The protection from the rook on d1 is just an illusion because the rook on c1 actually is under attack. So if the rooks are traded on c8, the knight goes back to c8 into safety, and black gives up too much material for white to deal with. Instead, after this bad move bishop d6, black returned the favor by going rook to d8 and lost in a few more moves.
Yeah, it's amazing sometimes how mutual blindness can occur, right? On the subject of blindfold chess in today's ChessCenter, I think that they probably both thought after knight takes d6 and rook takes c8 that somehow white was getting rook d8 check, right? If we had to guess, both of them having mutual blindness, that's just not possible. And so Ho Yifan blunders, Kramnik misses his chance and goes on to lose this game. With it, they both get a blunder of the week on ChessCenter, and maybe that was their plan all along. And ChessCenter is now joined by a very special guest, Orlando Jones. You can follow him at the Orlando Jones on Twitter, and he is here now to talk about a special project that he has launched called The Druid Kings. You can check out the trailer at thedruidkings.com. And Orlando, the first question from chess fans has to be, how did you, an actor, a writer, an entertainer, get involved in the world of chess, and what inspired you to play?
Yeah, I think for me it always starts the same. I was running around in the park and there were some guys playing and they were talking a lot of trash, and I was talking a lot of trash over on the basketball court, and a ball went over their direction. They threw it back and I got caught up in what they were doing, and they started talking about the game and teaching me about the game, and I kind of quickly understood that it had really transformed their lives, and I got fascinated with chess.
And so is that what led to this project that is definitely different than a lot of the ways chess has been covered in the past, focusing on the park environment, these guys that are highly interesting and diverse characters, but not somebody they haven't gotten a lot of coverage in mainstream chess media. So is that what inspired you to really take that angle and do the Druid Kings project?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess there's always the way, everyone thinks things happen, and my experience was very different than that. I got into chess watching some guys play in a park. So for me, that's a very natural route, and for them it was a part of their lives. It wasn't just a game. It was something much more than that. And I quickly understood that I wanted to learn it from people who for them it's a way of life. It's not just a game to them. And often those are not the people that you hear about when you start talking about chess. You don't generally hear about disabled people. You don't hear about veterans. You don't hear about often people of color. You don't hear about women. You really just, those are not the faces that often are associated with the game, but those are the faces that I associate with the game. So that felt like the right portal for me to come in, rather than pretending that I entered through, watching a movie like Searching for Bobby Fischer. I entered this other way.
Makes a lot of sense. And let me ask you, how much is chess a part of your life now? You're very busy, but do you play regularly?
I don't. I try and play regularly. I muck around on the computer. I mean, most of my time, my friends play a lot. So what I often do more than anything else is I follow a bunch of different games, just watching different people play. I would consider myself as a chess player not very good. But I have a number of friends that I think are really, really excellent, and obviously that's coming from somebody who's not very good. But I'm fascinated by the world around chess by chess players. I'm fascinated by the people who gamble. I'm fascinated by the underground gambling scene that's around chess. People just don't think of it in that way, but that's the way I know the game. I know guys who gamble thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on chess matches, and also follow the the championship and gamble on the side of that. So for me, I entered into it really kind of on the hustler scene, because those were the guys I knew, and I became fascinated with their view of the game, and it very much informs sort of my view of the world in some ways, and very much my view of the game of chess.
Well, I play chess all the time, and I don't consider myself very good either, so we have a lot in common there. Of all of the World Championship format suggestions that seem to be going viral on the internet after Game 12, Mike, on Reddit, on Facebook, on Chess.com, fans were going crazy. Which suggestion do you think had the most merit in the end?
Well, I really like Grandmaster Emil Satovsky's idea. He wants to make classical 16 games, but the biggest one is that he wants to play the possible tiebreak right before the final round. That way, we already know who would win in case of a 6-6 tie or an 8-8 tie, and that would make that final classical game so much more exciting than what we got in New York City. Really thought that idea had some legs. Now, nobody's ever accused of Chess.com of having boring formats. We've got an upcoming Crazy House Championship. Danny, who's already confirmed for that one?
Grandmasters Meyer and Ponsa, International Masters Bartel and Tang, but let's talk about the real favorites. Those aren't title players. Guys like Justin Tan, Kazem Goulamali, those guys are known as the Crazy House gods. They run the underground world of Crazy House and Bug House on the web. I expect one of those two to end up winning it in the end. Not sure which one will come through as victorious. Now, did Aegon come through with their promised list of celebrities in New York, by your admission?
Well, to be fair to Aegon, that news report about Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates attending was not produced by them. A little bit unfortunate that those false rumors leaked out. I would say up until the middle of the tournament, I give them like a C- because all they really had was Woody Harrelson. But then they got everybody's favorite pop culture scientist, Neil deGrasse Tyson. So I'll give them a B at the end of the day. Not bad. A couple of months ago, Chess.com released the cap system, Danny. Were you expecting all of that controversy?
Controversy. Just wait till you see the next Caps article coming out where we went as far back as Morphy and ranked all the world chess champions in history. Some surprising data about who really was the most accurate and best world chess champions of all time. Speaking of doing awesome things, Magnus Carlsen just defended his world championship title, but let's get down to real brass tacks. He's about to be featured in a Donald Duck cartoon and a voiceover for The Simpsons. Of those two things, which one do you find more impressive?
I got to go with The Simpsons, and if I didn't pick them, Ben Feingold would knock my door down, so I'm sticking with it. Finally, Danny, Timur Guriev, we already mentioned him earlier in the show, but we find out now that his brain is becoming the case study for researchers. Are we happy with Timur being the standard bearer for all chess players?
Knowing what I know about Timur that's not PG rated and can't be mentioned on this show, I'm going to say I'm a little frightened by that case study, but I am going to wish Timur all my best and give him a well-deserved congratulations for all of his accomplishments and for his brain being studied. Mike, we're going to let you get back to your study and try to go through all those books behind you, and we will see you on next week's Chess Center.